Hey everyone, I just found another version. Oh, I mean, oops, I mean a video version. So we're going to make a live
Facebook
video.
Live version.
Facebook Live video version. So Anna, how does it?
Anniken.
Anniken. It's like Heineken, but
yes, like Heineken.
So do you want to talk to me or you want to talk to your friends?
You know what? I actually would like you to talk about what is a really cool.
Do like this?
Yeah, it's a really cool project, and you just used me as a guinea pig. Well, you have done it for quite some time, but I really love to tell about what you're going to do.
John's leaving.
What happened?
I wanted to interview John.
Is this live now?
This is live now.
Yeah, right. There is he. Okay, so tell about your project. It's interesting.
So this is my card. I carry out like a large card because I am not pretty and blonde like her. And you know, I'm brown. People don't really like brown people anymore.
No.
Too many, especially in Finland, which is 2% Pakistani now. Not Finland, Norway. Norway is 2%, 2.5% Pakistani people. Anyway, so my story is that I grew up in Pakistan, and I met a friend online in 1995 or 1996 from the U.S. in Florida, and she was a school teacher. And we became friends over email. There was no internet phone. There was no nothing. We could just email each other. We used to each email each other 3 or 4 times a day. And she coached me. She was 15 years older than me. She coached me on how to talk, how to walk, you know, be confident. And I was like, you know, I had nobody who would coach me like that to become who I was. Then my company became a partner in education with her school in Florida. Our company created a website, which was unheard of, a thing called website for a school in Florida in 1997 or 1996. And their school became the first school in Florida to have a website. So we created a website for them. And then then internet phone software came, and I started teaching and talking to the kids in their school over internet phone. Just to do a cultural exchange, to learn cultures, and you know, this is, you know, like, it sounds like ancient history, but it's 19 years ago. Then I started a company with her in 1999, and I couldn't go to the U.S. I was declined U.S. visa like 12 times, but I love to travel. So eventually I got a visa. I got married. Then Suzanne came to Pakistan. We went to the embassy together. They still declined my visa, even though we had a full newspaper, like a huge page of newspaper article about me in the newspaper in the U.S. They just wouldn't give me a visa anyway. So eventually my daughter was born, and then I went to the U.S. and I spent a year. And my friend, long story short, I was declined U.S. visa 11, 12 times. I came back to Pakistan after I lived in the U.S. for a year, and I couldn't go back. And I had a company which was now in the U.S., and now I had to do business in Pakistan. So I started asking all my friends in Pakistan or my colleagues in office to start adding my American friends, which when Facebook came, so that they can understand how Americans think and how the telecom people think. And there is a thing called khudi, or self-belief, which is lacked in most of the underdeveloped countries, because, you know, we were ruled by some other country, and the nation was not just able to make the kids believe that you are good enough. And this is something which I think Americans have, like, I think they're like given an injection when the baby is born that you're good enough, you're good enough. Like,
you can be the president.
You could be the president, yeah. Look, so my friend tells a joke that, you know, if a boy from Pakistan is wearing a T-shirt saying "I'll be a Superman," my mother will smack you and say, "Go to school." And the American mother will say, "Yeah, of course you can be the Superman if you want to be, but now go to school." So there's a difference of attitude which changes everything. And Americans have become the best marketeers in the world and self-believers. So people in America in general believe in themselves much more than other cultures, I believe. And as you said, think bigger and stuff, like in Silicon Valley. So I saw a difference that my colleagues were changing. My colleagues started to think in a different way. They became, you know, they found good friends. They started talking on Skype. They were improving their English. They were improving their accent. They were understanding how things work, and they grew up with this thing in their head that this is enemy or this is enemy. So Pakistan is a very religious country, even though most people are not religious, but the whole culture is very, very religious. So the name of the country is Islamic Republic of Pakistan. So religion, it was sold to us that Pakistan was made on the basis of religion, which is true, and 3 million people were murdered on the, migrating from each other side. So it's a very religious country. Now everything, in an identity, always there is an enemy. Like, for example, who is Norwegian's enemy? Swedish are Norwegian's enemy. For example,
we love
okay,
Swedes.
yeah. Well, there's a Swede here. But in general. So, and where was I?
You were talking about there's an enemy.
There's an enemy. So Pakistani's enemy are supposed to be Israelis and Indians and Americans and do this and that. So all that started to change when these people started to make friends with these people, and they actually interacted with them. And they were telling that you are the enemy without ever meeting them and communicating with them. So all those mindsets started to change. So 2 years ago, I was sitting and I was thinking that can this happen to anyone if they make foreign friends? So I have a selected 5,000 friend pool in my Facebook. That's the limit. And in that friend list, I have people like Steve Wozniak, Steve Case, his wife, his brother, the guy who owns AOL and CNN, and very interesting people. And I offered anybody who would take 500 of my non-Pakistani Facebook friends, I'll give you a free laptop. And that everything started to change. I did not know what I was doing. I gave one laptop and then I gave another one. So far we have given 300, and now we have data to prove that every single person who actually interacts with a foreigner for a certain amount of time, the mindset totally just flips. Wow. And they're no longer that person anymore if they actually interact. Now that the obstacles are language, sometimes you don't speak the language, that becomes an obstacle. I know a person in Italy, a woman actually, who has changed her profile photo with a Pakistani guy. She doesn't speak English. She uses translator to communicate with him, but he loves him so much that she, did this. And then there was a Spanish American woman who started donating in a very small village in Pakistan out of nowhere. She was a hairdresser. She didn't even have money. And I was like, I just added her like randomly, and she started to become like 200 mutual friends, and she's like an influencer now in their village, and she's like teaching over Skype to these kids, and like wow. And then one of the boys who was 19, who was like so anxious, like a small puppy boy jumping all the time, he was impatient when I met him, 17 years old. Today at 19, he became a partner with Steve Wozniak. And he has never met Steve Wozniak in his life.
Wow.
And this boy is like as a Facebook ninja. You want to friend anyone, like for example, John wouldn't friend you, or Mark Zuckerberg, you leash him on them, and he will go in and convince them to become his friend. And he's so patient. The same boy who was like a puppy boy jumping impatiently has become the most patient person on earth that I know of. He would be after and persistent, and so he could just do whatever you tell him. So on Facebook, Facebook came to meet him, and I was so jealous of this boy. Facebook didn't came to meet me, and he came to went to see him. I was like, wow. So and more transformation after transformation, as interaction happens more and more, things are just radically changing. And why am I continuing to do this? Because I believe that what happens in the third world countries or in developed countries, the people who have the thinking power, the confidence, the courage, they leave the country. And the intellectual capital and the courage capital leaves the country. And all of a sudden, you're left with like the trash or the bottom of the pyramid, who don't have the courage to change anything in their own country. So what I'm doing is I'm taking Facebook and using it to reverse the whole philosophy. I'm trying to find the best of the minds, connecting them over Facebook to whatever kind of mind are in the world. And now it's not just Pakistan. I have given laptop in Nigeria, I've given in Syria, in Israel, in Palestine. And now I have an offer globally, anywhere in the world, anybody who takes my first person from that country takes my 500 friends, I'll give them $100. Not a lot of money, but it's just a reward to see, it's just, just a gift. Who sends you $100, dude? Nobody. I'm willing to send the $100. Why? Because I believe I would love to know one person at least from every country in the world, right?
So Facebook, you have to talk to this guy because
Facebook doesn't care. So.
So what you hope to achieve? What's your long-term vision?
Oh, I wish I knew what I was going to achieve, but what I have been.
Do you have a dream? Do you have a dream?
My goal in life was when somebody asked me 6 years ago, "What's your goal in life?" I said, "I have everything. I don't want anything." Well, if you stand in front of God, what do you want? So, I want to end poverty because I found that poverty allows people not to think freely, not to be courageous, not to be, become the person you want to become. And my goal is everybody should become that butterfly where we do whatever you want to do. And I don't know if I can be successful in this. So I started a program 5 years ago where I was teaching people how to start a business at $100. I failed because I couldn't find courageous people to help me start those things. I just couldn't find them. So I started creating them. So now anybody who takes my 500 friends, I know changes and it becomes a better person. Then I have an offer. If they take 1,200 of my friends, I give them first 500, I give them a smartphone. Second 1,200, I give them a laptop. At 1,500, I offer them partnership to start a business with them, and I invest in them, and say, tell me what your dream is, and I'll help you achieve it. Because I know by the time they have actually been persistent and hardworking to reach the 1,500 friend goal, they have actually transformed themselves into a totally different human being. And they are like 30% of me because I am collection of my friends.
It's amazing. And so the reason why we met was that you told me how many followers do you have? You had
750,000.
750,000. And then he says to me, "Do you want more followers?" And I said, "Okay." And he made a video of me and put it on
10 minutes later.
Yeah, and he said, "Don't freak out, don't freak out." And 2 minutes later, there was 40, 50 friend requests. So I did freak out, and I'm going to continue freaking out.
Don't freak out.
But it's an interesting experiment. So let's see how this goes. And you're speaking at a conference here in Oslo.
You already have 80 friend requests.
Oh, okay. Well, okay. So, anyways, more than I had in a long time.
Yes.
Anyways, so what are you going to speak about in the conference here on Friday?
What am I speaking about? The same story as I just told?
Yeah. Your life and trust and...
So I think that what he and his friend, another friend is building, has already been made in China, by the way. I just found out recently that they have a score which the girl's mother look at before they marry the boy to the girl, which is the trust capital score, which Alibaba actually made, and it's going to become like a Facebook score or your ethical score in life. So what I can now say have been building is a tribe of very, very interesting human beings who can be anywhere on the planet, and they have the resource in terms of network and in resource in terms of the trust capital. I was talking to a billionaire. He says, "I have $7 billion in spare, but I don't have enough people I trust to invest them with." So that's where the problem is right now. As you have found out, that trust capital is missing. People have, I would say, because of the education system, we have grown into people who are supposed to hate or dislike or be uncomfortable with strangers. What the mother says, "Don't go outside, strangers are there." Oh, what's a stranger? A stranger is someone you haven't talked for 5 minutes. You talk with someone for a minute, he's no longer a stranger, it's an acquaintance. Talk to him for an hour, becomes a friend. So, and talk to them for 2 hours, 2 years, you become a very trustable friend. So that's basically what the difference is. And you don't have to really know them. I mean, we trust our school friends from school time with a lot of money. If you put a dollar number, it's higher than the person you even know for at office, because just you know them for 20 years. So the trust capital is very high on that. So
I like that, trust capital. It's a good word, and I think that is the foundation for everything. And as we started talking about in the workplace, that's the lack of trust you find in a lot of companies, and that is also, I think, where people are not as effective as they can be because they spend their energy on the wrong things, and they're unhappy because, well, they look behind their shoulders and see if someone is there to blame them for something. So when people trust each other, they are much freer, and they can actually go and create and do stuff and have fun doing it. So it's a good work. Well, anyway, I think this is the first Facebook Live video ever. It was a long one, but it's a good one, and you're very wise and you're very interesting, and I'm very excited to see what's going to happen after this. But thank you for watching.
Good things always happen.
Always happen.
So
yes.
everyone who I just met her today, but everybody who wants to find who you are, get in touch with this amazing woman and help her unleash more people out of their cocoons.
And follow this man.
Hi, my name's Rehan.
Rehan and Anakin. Yeah. Okay, bye.